Okay, so we have a graph question here. So I've got this part is already drawn, and I've got to draw this curve here, this quadratic curve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a table of values just down here. So I can see from the graph that x can be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I'm running out of space. Look, there's the x values. So all I have to do is I have to substitute these x values to work out the corresponding y value. So if I use -2 first, so y equals 3, so swap x for -2, squared minus 4. So that's all I've done. I've swapped x for -2. I'm going to work it out. So we always work out the powers first, BIDMAS. So -2 squared is 4. Because two negatives multiplied together give you a positive answer. Then all I have to do is work it out. So 12 take away 4 gives me 8. So I know this value is 8, which also means I know this value because when I substitute in 2, I still get this 4 here. So it gives me the same value. Right, I'll do it now for -1. So swap x for -1, work it out. So -1 squared is 1. Work it out, then it gives you -1. So I know this is -1 here, and I know this is -1 here. When x is 0, I'm getting the value to be -4. Now I don't need to work out 3 anyway, look, because the graph only goes up to 8, so I won't bother. I'll just stop there. I've got some coordinates to plot. So the first one, -2 across, 8 up. So as carefully as I can, I'm going to plot these coordinates. -1 across, -1 down is just here. 0 -4 is here. 1 -1 and 2, 8 is up here. Now it's a curve. Don't use your ruler here. As best you can, join them together with a nice curved line. So curved line, that's sort of okay. There we go. And now I can see what the approximate solutions are, where this curve and this line are equal to each other. So where they intersect, so that point and that point. Now, let me write them down. So the first one then, the x value is about -0.95, just before -1, isn't it? And then it's about -1.65 down. Okay, so there's one coordinate. The other solution then is around here, so it's about 1.45 across, and the y value is about 2.9, should we say. There we go, so there's the solutions. Right, so we have a question about surds here. So we've got to work out the value of the square root of 2 to the power of 4. So we've got to work square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. So we've got to work this out. So what we need to know is that the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, which is 2. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, which is 2. So the answer is 2 times 2, which is 4. Expand. Now when I'm doing expansion, I like the grid method, so I'm going to do a little grid here. So I've got root 2 and 3 multiplied by itself. Okay, so please remember that this is the same as root 2 plus 3 times by root 2 plus 3. So if we do the double brackets, it will help you remember. So root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which is 2. 3 times root 2 we write as 3 root 2, not root 6 because it's not the square root of 3. Here same, 3 root 2, and then 3 times 3 is 9. Now we can collect our like terms here, so we've got to add all the terms together. So I know 2 add 9 is 11, and I know 3 root 2 adds another 3 root 2 gives me 6 lots of root 2. So that's that part. And down here we have this little one. Okay, so we have to know that when we have a power of a half, it is the equivalent of the square root. So if that negative wasn't there, it would just be saying, what's the square root of 9? We know it's 3. Now because it is a negative power, it means that the answer is the reciprocal of 3, so it's a third. So we're going to write a third here. Now you can write 0.3 recurring if you wanted, but please do not write 0.3 or 0.33 without the recurring. That is not equivalent. So either of these two answers would be fine.